Get the comfy chair!
Hello, welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Odd with your host, Marcus Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
So this is a comfy chair time. So we are doing our usual. Shall I go first? Do you want to go first? How do you want to do it?
Either or. You go first, yeah.
All right. First one I'm going to talk about is The Hitcher. It's a film from the 80s. There was a sequel. And there was a remake with Sean Bean. But The Hitcher from 1986, that's what I want to say, is Rutger Hauer and Thomas C. No, not Thomas C. Riley. Oh, I've forgotten his name. He's a younger actor. He wasn't in many. He's kind of a striking actor. I'm bullshitting while I look it up. Hold on. Jennifer Jason Leigh was in it. Was fairly young. Thomas Howell is the actor I'm thinking of. Essentially, it's a horrible rainy night. This guy is driving through the rain across America. A young guy. And he's kind of starts to fall asleep and he's starting to get worried. You know, a truck nearly runs into him. Yeah. So he doesn't know what he's going to do. So he sees a hitcher by the road who is, and it's driving rain, absolutely driving rain. So he stops for him and the guy gets in and it starts with a reasonable conversation, but it gets weirder and weirder. For example, standard line later on in the conversation is Rutger Hauer saying, "Do you know what it looks like when something comes out of an eyeball when you stab it?" It's kind of those conversations. So he starts to realise that he's in trouble. So it kind of goes on and essentially becomes kind of a cat and mouse game across. You know, he manages to chuck him out the car. Because the door's kind of loose. It's not his own car. He's driving it across the America to deliver it to someone or give it. He's looking after it for someone else. In it. And we're talking about it's Texas, right? So it's desert and long empty roads. And along the way, he also encounters a waitress played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, who kind of thinks he's a psycho, and then kind of realizes he's not the thing. Is. The reason is this hitcher, Rutger Hauer's hitcher, who's also called John Ryder, and who seems almost a supernatural character. You know, he just wants to do stuff and just does it. He starts to set up the guy for these murders. Basically, he murders people on the road and then sets up this guy to make it look like it was him. So this guy can't go to the police and he's being chased by thinking. I've not seen the remake. It's Sean Bean. It might be good. It might not. I don't know. But, you know, Rutger Hauer is pretty good in stuff, right? And it's pretty scary as the bogeyman in this. A really fun film. Not the greatest, but it's fun. It's one of those, if you've got an hour and a half to spare and you've got nothing better to do, you'll enjoy it. It's one of those kind of films. Have you ever heard of it?
No, this is the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's one I always meant to get to because I actually remember a friend of mine saying, "Oh, you got to watch The Hitcher," and he quoted. This is like 30 years ago. Quoted the line I said to me at that time to try it. I said, "Okay," and I always liked Rutger Hauer. You know, ever since I saw him in Blade Runner, I've liked him in all sorts of things. I find him an interesting. He's got another one which we should do sometime. A really fun one where he's basically like a blind samurai in America. It's amazing. It's so stupid. It's proper grindhouse, but it's Rutger Hauer, so you know it works. You know, he does stupid things like, for example, there's an alligator walking along a beach, or you know, and he's a blind guy and he walks along and he pats the alligator on the head and says, "Good doggy," but you know, he knows exactly what's going on around him, so it's kind of a joke almost. But yeah, you have to. At one point, I think he gets his sword out and cuts off a guy's eyebrows that's threatening him, for example. Maybe I'm talking about. I want to watch that. So I think it's called Blind Fury. So it's a good one. So yeah, this was all right. Yeah, you know, it's sort of 7 out of 10 kind of thriller horror kind of film. Anyway, that's my first.
Okay.
What else?
Well, my first one is actually kind of somewhat similar. We've got assassins, and we've got like Asian themes, kind of. Well, it's Bullet Train, the new.
Yeah, you were
The
saying
new,
this
I thought it was a Guy
Brad
Ritchie film. I
Pitt.
never met it. It's David Leitch is the director. Brad Pitt
Okay.
is the main character, Ladybug.
Right.
Everyone in this film has a code name. It gets kind of difficult. But so the premise is that there's a train full of assassins and there's a case on the train.
Okay.
It keeps passing between assassins. They're
Sounds
all...
a bit like Snatch.
Yeah,
Something like
kind of.
that.
Which
But
is why I was
presumably-
thinking it was a Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah, but I assume these assassins are relatively competent rather than the guys in Snatchy.
Yeah, so we got Brad Pitt as our main character, Ladybug, who's almost ritualistically unlucky and is a pacifist. He's like going through therapy. And he's regularly talking about how he's like, my therapist has this technique where he just talk about it. Like, can't we talk this out? Sort of things whenever he gets into a scrap. Got Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry as Tangerine and Lemon, a pair of British assassins.
Awesome. Yeah.
Lemon has a particularly funny gimmick where he's obsessed with Thomas the Tank Engine and keeps referring to people as the characters.
Like
Percy,
or...
it's like, so you get other characters, you got other things, and like this Thomas, he's the reliable one. You got Gordon, the big engine. You got Diesel. Diesel's always mess stuff up. You strike me as a Diesel. It's like, of course, it's Brian Tyree Henry. Like, he's huge.
Yeah.
So it's this huge guy like looming over people. It's like, you strike me as a Thomas. It's like,
it sounds pretty good.
It's a really fun film. Yeah.
It reminds me of another film that I think you'd really like, from the description, called Accident Man, which is a Scott Adkins film. Scott Adkins does a lot of B action movies. He's pretty good and he's got a big following, but he's still it tends to be straight to streaming or straight to video. But Accident Man is a really good film. He's an assassin who specializes in making assassinations look like accidents. So he'll spend, like, for example, there's a whole section where he's trying to figure out how to kill a certain guy. And he watches him every day and sees how he corners his car on a certain corner, and then works out. Basically, what he does is he spends days working out the perfect way to make the car blow a tire so it looks like he's dead. So it kills him, but it looks like an accident. And he basically shoots the tire with an ice bullet.
Okay.
So the bullet melts. Stuff like that. But he also goes to a part. It's really almost like a cut rate John Wick as well, in that he goes to this bar that only assassins know about. Yeah. And you see all the other assassins and their mouth.
There's like a couple of like Japanese guys in this. The characters are Japanese, and I think both of the actors have been in John Wick in various stages.
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, for example, one of the other assassins is a woman called Jill the Ripper, who specialises in sort of, I think it's like cheating husbands, right? And she always uses blades in her assassinations. That's a fun one. But in that one, they all kind of get our main guy gets a price in his head, so all of his, what were his mates are after him. The only safe ground is the bar. The bar, you're not allowed to kill anyone else in the bar. So that kind of ties into the plot as well. That's a really fun film. And next time we're together, maybe I'll dig it. I've got it on a DVD. I liked it so much I bought it on DVD. Okay, I think I saw a streaming one and I thought, that's so good, I'm going to get that because I'm going to watch it again. That's a fun one. But this sounds good. I think it'll be right up my street. I'll have to try and catch it, I think.
Yeah, it's really good. I saw it at the cinema. It's just so much fun. Like it's like 90% jokes. If you watch the trailers, don't spoil anything, so they're worth watching.
Yeah. All right.
Aside from a couple of jokes, of course, but
yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's good.
The director, David Leitch, he's done a couple of. It may not have been the mainline things, but I know he directed Hobbs and Shaw. So.
Oh, I like Hobbs and Shaw quite a lot.
And Atomic
Blonde. I like that as well.
Oh, it's the guy who directed John Wick. I should have started with that.
Well, there you go. Yeah, John Wick. Okay. Well, yeah, John Wick's a really well directed.
His list is John Wick, Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, Hobbs and Shaw, Nobody, Bullet Train, There's something called Violent Night.
Nobody is a great film.
Yeah.
I could thoroughly recommend Nobody. Again, I think you'd like it as well. It sounds right in this category, you know. Bullet Train sounds like, you know, you've got Gunpowder Milkshake, John Wick, all of those kind of modern action films that are kind of harking back to 80s action somewhat, but with a sort of 2020s sensibility. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. My next one's a little more obscure. This is a quite obscure horror film from the 70s. It's called Messiah of Evil, made in 1973. It's entirely free on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube, and it's a really kind of unusual horror film. I was quite surprised how good it was. This girl returns to, I think, her hometown called Point Doom. Spelled D-U-M-E, but said Point Doom, California, basically, you know, by the coast, to visit her father, who is kind of insane, but he's also a really good artist. And once she gets there and can't find, he's missing. She settles in the house but starts having weird nightmares, and just weird stuff happens, and then she kind of meets these people, which is like this sort of flash playboy type with these two women who appear to be both his girlfriends, and he spends a lot of time talking to her, and the women make slight jokes about, he's interested in her now, not us, and all. Do you know what I mean? But they all seem to get along. It's a bit odd, and they're the place is kind of an artist colony, described as an artist, you know, a town where there's a lot of artists. And this kind of guy, I think his name's Tom, and he's kind of, I don't know if they're groupies or girlfriends, I really can't tell. And going on, and also this guy finds this old drunk who for some reason wants to find out about the history of the town, who starts telling him stuff about a blood moon and something weird happening in the town years ago affecting him. Essentially, it's a vampire film. Okay. It's kind of a weird vampire film, but imagine a vampire film crossed with Shadow over Innsmouth. Huh? That's the kind of vibe. All the town people, they're just people milling about, but at some points they just attack people en masse, but not particularly fast, or they're faster than zombies, but they're very odd. You know, it's a very, very odd film. And you kind of see these weird creatures. They gather in places. They just gather as groups while you're there, and it's like, what's going on? And they call it the waiting. And there's an attack in a cinema. You know, this girl, one of the groupies is kind of bored, so he suggests go to the cinema. She goes to the cinema. She's sitting there on her own eating popcorn, and then she kind of looks round, and all these people are just sitting behind her. She didn't hear them come in, is the impression you get. And they're all behind her, and they all look a bit like comatose. And so he gets nervous and then gets up trying. No, man, and it goes wrong. And various attacks like that. The attacks are really weird. They're never one-on-one. They're always loads against one person. So it's really weird. Not a bad film. So again, 7 out of 10. One I'd never heard of. I came across it in a book I'm reading, and it references some quite obscure horror films. So I thought I'd give this a go, and it's really, really cool. Now, some critics claim it's terrible, and others call it, you know, one of the great forgotten horror films. In many respects, it's compared somewhat to Night of the Living Dead in the way the zombie vampires act. It was cool. And there is a weird substrain of horror films in the early 70s of vampire stroke zombies kind of characters. None of them are zombies, but they're kind of vampires that act like the zombies from Night of the Living Dead. You feel like Night of the Living Dead influenced them all, though they were still zombies, right? Still vampires. Very weird. Very weird. Quite enjoyed it. Right, what's yours?
Okay. Well, my next one is actually a book that I've been listening to on Audible I've been painting because you know I'm into Warhammer. I've been painting
models,
painting my models, listening to this story it's actually set in the old world of Warhammer. They don't actually have that world anymore, so they got rid of it.
Okay.
But it's the start of a probably the longest like Warhammer series, like book series, called Gotrek and Felix. Now this is following the story of a dwarf slayer. Slayers are like a death cult in dwarven culture, where they've done something so terribly wrong they basically have to commit suicide by combat with a giant monster.
Okay.
And Felix has been dragged along because he drunkenly swore an oath to be the dwarf's like storyteller. So he has to be there to like log his death. And and then like return the story.
It needs a bard. It needs a bard.
Yeah, he's a bard. He is functionally a bard. He was like a theatre student, but he killed a guy in a duel. And while he was running away from the police, Gotrek saved him. And in the drunken night of revelry that followed, Felix swore that he'd be his remembrancer, I think is the name they give it.
Okay, that sounds cool. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, so far it's pretty good. This first book is actually like it's basically a mini omnibus, where it's all the like short stories written in the late 80s and 90s, through to the late 90s of Gotrek and Felix starting out. Because after this, it started to become like an actual book series. It was just like short stories in the probably in various sci-fi and fantasy.
Well, probably White Dwarf magazine.
Yeah,
it?
White Dwarf too. But they also published. William King is the author. He probably published in other stuff as well. So it's we got like a couple dealing with the ever demonic forces of chaos. We got some dealing with goblins. We got, as the name would suggest, we got a troll at one point that they had to kill in the ruins of Karak Eight Peaks, the lost city of the dwarves.
So all of this is in that one book.
Yeah, there's like about half a dozen stories. So they're
okay. Do you think what they did is compile short stories?
Yeah, they compiled them into this first one.
It sounds like a good kind of idea.
Yeah. There was one other short story, but that got adapted into the first chapter of the next book called Skaven Slayer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do the later books are more long form than short stories?
They're more like... There is continuity between these stories, like Gotrek loses an eye in one of the earliest stories, and that regularly causes him issues because he can't fight as effectively because he's lost his defense on one side.
Yeah, and a bit of depth perception too. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the pictures. It looks pretty cool, and I'm laughing because one of the books I think is called Git Slayer.
That's. The goblins call it orcs and goblins call each other Gits.
Okay, fair enough.
Almost all the stories are called something Slayer, to the point where it became like Dragon Slayer, Beast Slayer, Vampire Slayer, Giant Slayer, that sort of thing.
Are you going to continue then?
I'm going to carry all the way through, all the way to Slayer. Which is the last one.
The last one. So is that it's all on Audible as well, is it? Do you know?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, yes.
Sounds like the perfect thing to listen to while you're painting, actually.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, that sounds cool.
And side note, the latest stuff, I think it's because there was a point where the old world of Warhammer was destroyed in universe, and then they moved on to their new stuff. Gotrek made it through. Like he made the transition. And in the first book that he's in the new the Mortal Realms is what they call it. He's voiced by Brian Blessed.
Amazing.
Yeah. To the point where in Total War, when they introduced Gotrek and Felix, Brian Blessed voices him in that too. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. My next one, I'm kind of tempted to bring another one slightly up the list because it's kind of... No, I'll leave it. My next one is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4. So I've been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like 1 or 2 a week for quite some time now, and I just finished Season 4. And I've also been watching it in parallel to a podcast I listen to, which is a terrific podcast called The Rewatch Project, where it's husband and wife who are basically watching one episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. per episode and just talking about it. They love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they've both seen it before, so this is a rewatch for them, hence it's called The Rewatch Project, right? And they'll move on to something new once they finish Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but there are 7 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4 was absolutely terrific, and apparently there's better to come from what they say. But Season 4 kind of falls into 3 smart mini stories, which is quite nice. It means we're getting 8 or so episodes per story, and they're not distinct stories. They do bleed across. One generates the next story strand, which generates the next story strand. So it's not like it's 3 distinct mini stories. They are one big story, but they are 3 distinct thrusts. The first 8 episodes deal with, I think it's 8 or possibly 9, with Ghost Rider, which is a surprise. It's the iteration of Ghost Rider called Robbie Reyes, who's a fairly recent one. Played by a fantastic job done by an actor called Gabriel Luna, who he's been in various things. He's quite famous for being in the Terminator Dark Fate as the Terminator. Terminator Dark Fate was a pretty good film. Pretty good Terminator film. But he's also in this as like a sort of Hispanic American Robbie Reyes, who is kind of aware of what he is. You don't get any origin story in this. You just find out that's what he is. And in this one, Ghost Rider's not riding a motorbike. It's a Dodge Charger, and it is the coolest car you'll ever see. How they found some good Dodge Chargers to paint it, I do not know, because Jinx Hazard chewed up Dodge Chargers, to an episode and apparently there's very few Dodge Chargers left in America because of the Dukes of Hazzard. There's a field somewhere full of old Dodge Chargers, just so you know. And that is elite. I mean, the effects are really good. The stories are really good. Ghost Rider's amazing. And you have to laugh because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have got to a point. Obviously, they're in the Marvel Universe, so they know about superheroes. But they're also dealing with a phenomenon that's called Inhumans, which is humans can sort of evolve into a next. It's a bit X-Men. It's a bit like that, Inhumans.
Okay, so there was a weird push from this freak named Ike Perlmutter, who was this weird super Republican guy who ran Marvel for the longest time, and he was like angry that Fox was making money off of the X-Men, so he tried to put the X-Men on like the back burner in the comics and push the Inhumans, but that's difficult to do because the Inhumans are all they're all monsters, morally. They're all terrible people.
Okay, they're not so much that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. they're like they are basically just the X-Men.
Yeah, they're like the
X-Men. In the comics, they're like a society that lives on the moon, and it's all there's a horrendous caste system that's based on what superpowers you get, and you the quote unquote villains are trying to take down the caste system.
Right. Okay. It does sound an awful lot like the X-Men, doesn't it? That's what the X-Men are kind of all about. Anyway. So and also they've gone through portals to other planets. They've done all sorts of mad things, right, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But now they have to deal with Ghost Rider. And at one point, Agent Coulson's talking to Robbie Reyes. He goes, "Well, look, I deal with Inhumans. I've dealt with aliens. I've dealt with this. What's your deal? Are you Inhuman?" He goes, "No, I made a deal with the devil." And Coulson's like, "Okay."
Yeah, sure. He goes as Guardian God, so
it does make me laugh. At one point, they think they can contain him by putting him in a room designed to hold the Hulk. Ghost Rider gets out. Yeah. There's no problem, gets out, and also he's a proper scary dude. He can confront things that the rest of them can handle. So they actually recruit him. At one point, it's not quite antagonistic, but they're not sure what he is, and they're trying to keep him at arm's length, and try and keep an eye on him, but in the end he kind of gets recruited, kind of thing. And the second story is more about an AI that gets created who kind of starts to take control and being more than you think she is. And then the third season is kind of the Matrix. Sorry, the third major arc is kind of the Matrix, sort of. Where there's alternate realities and all sorts going on, computer generated. And it's bonkers, and I have to laugh because I thought this can't get any crazier. But it ends with Phil Coulson waking up after being kind of caught by someone when they were in a diner. He wakes up, opens like the blinds of the room he's in, and is in space.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, we're in space now. And apparently season 5 is really good, so looking forward to that. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 4 was fantastic. And it's weird. Before I started rewatching, I'd always kind of heard Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is very patchy. You know, it goes through a run of 4 or 5 really good episodes and then a few duff ones and then good ones. I haven't really found that. I've kind of enjoyed all of them. I haven't really felt any was filler. And I mean, all 4 seasons I'm talking about here. But season 4 was particularly good. I have to say. Anyway, that's me, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay, so my next one is actually an anime TV series that's getting its new season. So my friend wanted to watch it, and I've been meaning to give this a watch. It's called Mob Psycho 100.
Okay.
You may have heard of it. It's like quite popular at the moment. But
I haven't. No, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, so it follows the story of this little kid called Mob. I say kid, he's like a high schooler, but the art style makes him look way younger. So he works part-time at a ghost detective place. This ghost detective place is ran by a complete scam artist called Reagan Arataka.
Okay.
Whose special technique is he throws table salt at the ghosts, and the ghosts are always very unimpressed.
Okay.
Mob himself is a fairly emotionally downplay sort of guy. He's very calm in all the situations. Except when he starts encountering other psychics.
Yeah.
Mob is incredibly powerful. But he keeps all his emotions under check because by the rules he's agreed to work part time, he's gotta keep it all under control. Can't hurt people. Can't do anything. So his emotions start to build up, and there's regularly a percentage meter on the screen relaying just how stressed Mob is because he's so downplayed that the revelation that Mob's gonna kill it, try and kill this ghost that's attacking them. Is the counter will tick up a bunch. It's and then Mob just sort of delete. It's got the same vibes as One Punch Man, really, where it's like someone who's ridiculously overpowered is just deleting enemies, and it's kind of comedy, kind of like its own little drama.
Yeah.
It's even made by the same, the original artist, who's just called One on Twitter. Is the same guy as One Punch Man made it. So yeah, it's a really fun show. I don't really want to talk more about it because it'll spoil stuff. But,
fair enough. It's One Punch Man is easily my favourite anime. I kind of like Cowboy Bebop and a few others, but One Punch is by far the best. And if it's got a similar vibe, I might try and catch this. Is there many episodes? Is there
there's 12. There's currently 2 seasons out, and the third one's upcoming. There's I think it's either 11 or 12 episodes in the first season.
That's manageable. What, 20 minutes?
Yeah, so half-hour time slot sort of thing. So 25-ish.
Mob Psycho 100.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make a note of that, and I might watch that. It's one of those ones I can watch as in between things. Do you know what I mean? Sounds like. I'm currently working through Shin-Chan that way. Can you believe?
Yeah.
Shin-Chan's just unbelievable.
Yeah. I should also say it has an absolutely insane animation style where they keep swapping it up.
Okay. Cool.
So they'll just completely change animation styles. Sometimes it's rotoscoped. Sometimes it's got I think my friend has said that at one point there's hand-drawn animations in season 3. There's going to be a 20,000 frame fight.
Yeah. Okay.
So 20,000 frames in one fight.
Nice. Wow, that's something. 20,000. I mean, how long's the fight?
No, they'll just randomly change the frame rate.
Okay.
So suddenly you'll be looking at something super fluidly animated, and it'll just go mental, and then it'll switch back to regular 24 frames per second. So
yeah, it is weird how the human beings get used to frames per second and stuff. Because when you play video games, anything below 50 frames a second is really noticeable, but when you're watching movies, it's not noticeable at all, and they're only 24, right? So it's really weird. Anyway, I guess because you're moving as well as, rather than sitting in one place watching something, when you're in a video game, you're moving relative to everything, aren't you? Anyway, okay. Yeah. All right. My next one is the Karate Kid 3.
Okay.
And I'm particularly wanted to talk about this because Karate Kid Cobra Kai is currently running. Cobra Kai is the TV series based on the Karate Kid movies. And season 5 is coming out shortly, 9th of September. So when people listen to this, it may have already hit the 9th of September. And I feel in later seasons of Cobra Kai, it channels directly into what's happening in Karate Kid 3. Now, Karate Kid 3 isn't like... Karate Kid is pretty good, right? It's a karate film about a kid who's a bit like Rocky.
I've never seen any of the Karate Kid.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, it's a bit like a Rocky with a kid doing karate. And in fact, it's made by the same director as Rocky. Karate Kid 2 is a similar plot, but they go to Japan. And that becomes a more desperate fight. It's not just for a tournament. It's way more serious. Karate Kid 3, they come back and it's bananas. It's kind of the Rocky 4 of the franchise in that it's 80s bananas rather than any kind of rational drama. Essentially, the guy that runs the dojo, Cobra Kai, is a broken man, but he happens to have a billionaire friend who is also Cobra Kai, who says, don't worry about it, you go on holiday, I'm going to spend the next 2 months getting revenge on this kid that crossed us. A billionaire, right? And I have to say, what really makes it is this bad guy is amazing. He's a really good actor, unbelievable pantomime bad guy, but he can also do karate as well, which is really something. He's getting into people's heads. He gets Daniel LaRusso's the sort of good guy. He gets into his head and starts trying to train him because Mr. Miyagi says he won't train him for a certain tournament. And it's all like, it's a big weird revenge story, but there's also weird bully boy stuff going on. It's a bit bonkers. And every time I watch it, I enjoy it more.
Okay.
And the first time I watched it, it was like, okay, this is fun, but it was crap compared to the first two. Yeah. But actually, it's kind of becoming my favourite.
Yeah.
And I've seen it 3 times now, and I'm happy to watch it any time. And it also ties directly into all the events going into Cobra Kai. And Cobra Kai is a great series. I'm not sure I've talked about it. I may have. But I may talk about it in one of our comfy chairs when I finish season 5. And it's weird because they've taken who was the bad guy in Karate Kid 1 and made him the main character in Cobra Kai. And it's like a redemption story, you know. His life's gone to shit, but he finds teaching kids karate is giving him meaning. So it's quite a good. It's a really good series. I mean, there's only 10 in the season. They're only half an hour, except for some of the finales are a little longer. But it's not like Stranger Things long though. It's 45 minutes the longest, and it's really exciting and cool. And I've watched Cobra Kai through twice now. That's how much I like it. And I'm looking forward to season 5 starting. But Karate Kid 3 is a big recommend. But it is bananas. Total bananas. What's going on? Right, that's me. That's one.
Okay, so my last one is another anime. It's actually an anime movie that I saw yesterday, in fact, in cinemas. It's called Dragon Ball Superhero.
Are they still doing Dragon Ball stuff?
Yeah, they've been doing Dragon Ball stuff continuously. Like they didn't.
It never goes away.
They stopped for a bit, but
Pokemon never goes away.
See, the thing is, they stopped for a bit, and then they made the live-action Dragon Ball movie. Like the Americans made the live-action.
Yeah, that sucked, didn't it? That sucked.
And it was literally so bad. The original manga writer and artist had to come back and was like, I'm not letting that be the last thing that's about the franchise.
I understand that.
He made a whole new series and restarted the franchise, basically.
Wow.
There's 4 movies, like a TV series, yeah. You got Battle of Gods, you got Resurrection F, you got Broly, and now you got new Superhero.
Cool. Was it fun?
Yeah, it's a very fun film. So the premise is generally, is basically... there's a minor villain from the back in when it was just Dragon Ball. So this is we're talking like the 80s, early 90s in actual comics. Has come back and they've started making problems. And the way they getting their help is they're tricking people into making them superheroes to fight the evil alien invaders, aka the main characters of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
who all happen to be aliens. So
Okay.
yeah, so
All
that
right.
it kind of spirals off from there. So I'm not going to say a lot more because it's a lot of like characters. I'll just be saying characters' names, but that you won't understand at all. But
Yeah.
it's a very good film.
And you saw it at the cinema.
Yeah, it was at the cinema.
Oh wow! How about that?
Yeah,
Cool.
it's been out in cinemas for like a week or so.
I've lost track of what's in cinemas. Thor completely passed me by.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have to get back into it. I really will. I just haven't been paying attention.
Just do Bullet Train first.
Yeah, I'll try that. I will. Yeah, I really like your last recommend. Everything, everywhere, all at once. So I reckon I'm really going to like Bullet Train. It sounds like my cup of tea. Though I didn't like the trailer. But I don't trust trailers. Trailers are totally misrepresent what to expect, in my opinion. Okay, I have got one more. I'll keep it brief though.
Okay, go ahead.
And it kind of ties back into your Go Trek and Felix thing,
yeah.
and also a recording we did not that long ago. Comic book series by Garth Ennis called Hulk the Slayer.
Okay.
Watch for me in the night. A direct sequel to Hulk the Slayer, the movie. And I don't think there's ever been one. And essentially, we get all the characters we know that didn't die in the first one. And also there's sort of interrelationships. There's new characters. For example, the daughter of the guy, the guy who got his hand chopped off, who had the really fast crossbow.
Yeah.
His daughter is in it and joins the troop. And they have to go through all sorts of mad stuff. And Voltan's back, but not in a way you'd expect.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. He's almost a man who looks like he's made of maggots. That's how he looks. He's really weird looking. And there's all sorts of shenanigans. People die. There's peril. People die in the troop. So that doesn't finish. And it's very similar to the movie in that comings and goings and double crossings and penetrating keeps where people are not expecting them, and it's a little more adult in that, for example, there's a whole section in the monastery where all the monks have become corrupt and are under the spell of the dark wizards, for example, and stuff like that. So it's a bit dark, a bit more adult than Hulk the film, but only a bit. Nothing is that exceptional, but yeah, they're all back. I really enjoyed it. Good little run. 5 comics. I really liked it. I like a bit of Hulk the Slayer. If they do any more, I'm going to continue reading them. They did something similar with Captain Kronos, who's a hammer hit person who is a bit like Hulk the Slayer recently, where they had the adventures of Captain Kronos in a comic book. Well, that's just vampires though, but man, that was great. That was really good. But this is fun too. It works quite well. I'll show you next time I see you. So you can see some of the artwork and stuff. Yeah, really, really enjoyed that one. As I say, Hulk the Slayer, Watch for Me in the Night is what it was called.
Okay.
Have you got any more? Oh, sure.
That's the last of mine.
Okay. All right then. So that's the comfy chair for August 2020. So we'll do another one in about a month. And otherwise, bye from me.
Bye.